Gold Rush Season 14. What were the final gold totals? Gold Rush Season 14 may be over, but fans are still talking about the final weigh-in and who made their goals. What were the final Season 14 gold totals for Parker Schnebel, Tony Beets, and Rick Ness, as well as Brian McCaughan? Here is the final gold totals of this Discovery Series. What was Parker Schnebel's Gold Rush Season 14 final gold totals? When Gold Rush Season 14 started, Parker Schnebel had a lofty goal of 5,000 ounces of gold. How did that pan out? Parker wound up with 7,381.1 ounces, worth an eye-watering $14.76 million. That is nearly 150% of his goal. Perhaps the biggest story of this season was that Parker splashed up $15 million for new 7,500 acres of new ground instead of leasing from a landowner and shelling out 20%. Although this claim is allegedly virgin ground, the gold miner's new property already had a cornucopia of equipment including dredges and wash plants. Also, others had claimed to have mined this land. But Parker went for it, and it turned out to be a good gamble. Most of Gold Rush Season 14 consisted of many struggles for Tony Beets. The king of the Klondike originally planned to create a super pit. This was a combination of last year's cuts that were going to be expanded. His goal was 6,000 ounces of gold, but his final total was 3,053.52 ounces, worth $6.11 million. What happened? It turns out that Kevin Beets had other plans. He decided to take the summer off, letting his folks know in a video call. It appears that gardening and hanging out with his girlfriend were going to be more fulfilling instead of digging up millions of dollars of gold. Although Kevin returned once before finally returning to finish off the season, it seemed that what he wanted was his father's approval. Although it was Parker Schnebel who got Tony Beets' praise, it seems that Kevin and his dad set up for Season 15. Sounds like Kevin Beets will be running his own claim. Rick Ness looked for redemption as he returned to gold mine after a year off. The big story of Gold Rush Season 14 was that Rick Ness was back. Moreover, fans learned why he was gone for 1 year, and it was not just because of seasonal affective disorder, SAD. Early on, Rick reveals to Z that he dealt with a cocaine problem. He never dealt with the death of his mom as she should. Therefore, he found himself in the throes of depression and finding comfort in some seriously bad vices. Now, Rick was back and seeking redemption. Although he had Parker Schnebel's unwavering support, Ness had a lot of work to do. That started with a goal of 1,000 ounces of gold and a brand new team rally to help him achieve that. Rick wound up putting together a ragtag team with a final total of 1,125.67 ounces worth $2.25 million. However, just recently, it looked like Rick has had some sort of relapse of his vices thanks to a social media post by his ex-fiancée, Liz M. Ari. Brian McCaughan and family Gold Rush Season 14 totals. Lastly, Brian McCaughan and his family wound up with a nice total. They weighed up 1,565 ounces for a value of $3.13 million. Although the cameras were not on this team for a good portion of the season, they still managed to beat out Team Rally in the end. Gold Rush fans, what do you think of this season? What do you want to see in Season 15?